Good morning, Flosstube. It's Lori of MischievousStitches. I want to welcome everyone to my channel this morning. I'm very glad that you stopped by for a visit. I love to share my cross stitch, and I'm glad that you're here, and I have several things to share with you. I have a finish. I have a couple pieces of haul. I have an item that I found on a junking trip, and I have a tote full of things that I had pulled at the end of last year in preparation to stitch this year. So if you've been watching me for some time, you know that I had just not filmed last year. For one reason or another, I lost my desire to stitch, but I was still planning, meaning I knew at some point that desire would come back, and it did. At the end of last year, I started to work on ornaments for my grandchildren. But I had the best of plans for this to be a year of nothing but Christmas. And it just hasn't worked like that. I am stitching like a mad woman, but I'm just not stitching on those things that I had pulled for Christmas. And I want to incorporate these things back into my stash, but I thought you may want to see them first. So I have a tote full of Christmas things to share with you as well. After all, it is Christmas in July, right? So let's get started. So my focus piece for the past couple of weeks has been the America sampler by Calico Confectionery. You can find them on Etsy, and I will link that shop below. And this is my piece. Isn't it so pretty? There's only 4 colors, a tan, a dark brown, and then red and blue. And it's beautiful. I already have ideas of how I want to finish it, and after this video, I'm going to do a little thrifting. I'm going to go hit a Goodwill and a couple of the local thrift shops and see if I can't find the perfect frame for this piece. And I already know how I'm going to do it. I'm excited about the finish. I just need to find the frame. The frame is the only thing holding me back. So you should come visit next weekend. If you do, you'll get to see a finish on that one. And I have one other thing that I got in the mail this week, and I'm wearing it. I saw Lori Brecklin of Not Forgotten Farms. She made a post on Instagram sometime last week that she had gotten one of these shirts. Now, I got needlework. It's very comfortable, especially here in the summer. It's a very comfortable tee. I've seen others that have picked up these shirts. There's different words. This one is needleworker or needlework. I think there's one that's needleworker. There's a cross stitch. I'll link the shop down below because it is Stitch Folk Shop, all one word, on Etsy. And I love these shirts. I know I'm going to order another, and I know you're going to want one too. So I'll link them below so that you can go and get a shirt for yourself. And I got a package in the mail this past week, and I had 2 pieces that I ordered. So I ordered both the pattern and the fabric for both. And this is Plum Street Samplers Freedom Pin Roll. I've been wanting this one for some time. I just had not pressed that button to add it to cart. And I got a piece. Let me put my glasses on so I can read to see what type of fabric it was. I ordered a piece of bramble. Picture this plus bramble to stitch it on. So it's not the call for fabric, but I think bramble will do really great. And I'll just pull the threads from stash. The other one I'm really excited about, I probably will not start this until, of course, October. This is October 31st by Cottage Garden Samplings. This would be the second piece that I have from them. If you remember back a few videos, I stitched a piece for my grandson, Waylon, and it was the bear from her Woodland series. I love everything about this. I am a fall girl. It's my favorite time of year. I was born in October. I love pumpkins and ravens and the colors of fall. Fall is just my time. I look forward to stitching this one. I will have it displayed. I can see now I'll probably pull this yellow. The mustardy yellow is one of my favorite colors, that and an olive green, all about the 70s. Again, I was born in the 70s. And I'm sure I will look for a frame or maybe paint one to pull that, pull that color from the piece. But I have plans for that. And then another piece of fabric. And this is Ancient. Picture this plus Ancient. And I think it'll look great on here. I love this white pumpkin. So those are future starts. And one junk and find. So my husband actually spotted this. I was so excited to have it. It was a little pricey, but I know it'll be worth it. This is, I hope I'm saying this right, Cassage, C-A-S-I-G-E. And it is just child's toy. It has the actual box, the original box that it came in. It's a little worse for wear, but it's a very old toy. So this is early 1900s, and it's a tiny little sewing machine. Hold on just a second. I did not pull the tag from the shop, but here it is. So I did look it up, and it's from this company's Fairy Tale series. It does have a little dust. I thought I dusted it well before I showed it, but I didn't. And it does still work. And it did come also with a couple of the little spools, and actually the spare needle as well. So there's the bottom and the side, and it's a little angel. And like I said, this is from their Fairy Tale series with these machines. Isn't that so cute? I love it. I absolutely love it. Let me give you a look at the front. I've seen toy ones before, but they were the more, I would say, more 50s, and they're the plastic ones. I do have my eye on one of those that I've been looking for, something within the price range I was willing to purchase but for the most part, I have avoided those. This one is more my style. This is something I really love the colors. I love the decals. They're not decals. It looks like it's hand painted. Let me check again. But just to be safe, I'm just gonna say decals, but the decals and everything are still there. They're not worn away. And I just think it's a beautiful little machine, and I thought I would share it with you today. This past weekend, my husband and I took a trip. We packed a bag with one change of clothes just in case we decided to stay somewhere. My husband said, let's just get out of town. Let's do something where you want to go. And he gave me a couple of ideas, and he said, let's go to the beach. Well, South Carolina has had a little change, and we've always gone, the school has always been a long bout of school and then a long summer break. Well, now they're doing an all-year thing, and it starts this year. So the children are going back to school a lot sooner this year, and it's actually in 2 weeks the kids are going back to school. So when he mentioned the beach, I was like, no, we're only 2 hours from the beach, and that means everyone around us with school-aged children are also 2 hours from the beach. I didn't want to take a chance to go to the beach, and it's so crowded, we just not enjoy ourselves. So we flipped a coin. He chose a couple of places, and we flipped a coin, and we ended up in the North Georgia mountains. We did a little hiking on Saturday up to a waterfall called DeSoto Falls. It was very hot, but in the mountains, of course, we just watched the temperature gauge on our car just drop as we're going north. So it was in like 83, 84 degrees. The wind was blowing. It's a beautiful day just to hike around. You know, the sun breaks through the trees in the mountains very little, just enough to light your way, but not enough to warm it up. And we just had a great time. We laughed a lot. We're out of shape, so we were breathing really hard. And but all in all, we had a wonderful time. I do enjoy my husband very much. We've been together for a very long time, since we were teenagers. And it's just a comfortable relationship, a comfortable and just peaceful. So we enjoyed our time. As I said, we laughed a lot because we're out of shape. And we ended up spending a night in North Carolina. And while we were in this little small town, it's called Murphy, there were a couple of shops that one of them I've visited before. One of them, I don't know if it was new, In my mind, I'm thinking I've noticed it before, but it was never open. But it was the full small town city block on the inside. And we happened to walk in maybe 30 minutes before they began to close. There was doors all down, open all through the stores to let the air in. It was a little warm in there, but nothing that bothered me too much. My husband noticed the heat more than I did. But I just was doing a quick cursory look of the shop, thinking if I ever get up that way again, making a mental note, do I want to go through here again? And I saw this case. And right beside it was a basket full of Singer sewing machine parts in the Singer boxes, like the plastic boxes that they're oval shape and different colors. Scissors, it's someone that maybe just gathered different things and put it in the basket, and right beside it's this case. It's a black case, and I knew it was a Featherweight case. And I said, it's probably empty. Let me take a look. It wasn't empty. The case is still sturdy enough to hold the machine, but it's aged, not very well. What's inside has aged very well. It's been very protective in that box. And I found a 1936 Singer Featherweight, and I am so excited. It was so funny because Clint walks up behind me. He knows what I look for. He knows it's sewing machines and sewing implements and things like that. So when he sees me bending over, squatting down, he knows I have found something I'm very much interested in, and he reaches and I'm pulling it out of the box slowly. And he says, how much? And I said, I gave him the price. And before I got the machine out of the box, he's already at the counter bargaining with this gentleman that runs, or there's actually 4 gentlemen, but one of the gentlemen that was manning the counter that were running the shop. And he got the price down a little bit, and I brought that baby home with me. I posted her on Instagram and my Facebook page, and I got a lot of comments from all of you, so thank you very much. I was so excited, and to see your excitement for me made me very happy. But a lot of you asked me if I was gonna name her. I didn't know that we name our machines, but I did come up with a name. My grandmother was born in 1930. This little lady, my sewing machine, was born in 1936, but my grandmother's name was Emmeline. So I will name my machine Emmeline for those of you that asked. So there's that story. I hope you're still with me. I hope I didn't bore you with that too much, but let's get into this tote. So here's the tote. It's all Christmas. There's some whips, there's some finishes, there's some kits, there's just some patterns. So let's get started. This is gonna be fun because I have not looked at this since the end of last year. This is a kit, one of the shameful kits. I keep meaning to start and finish this one, and I haven't. And I think I've shown this one before, but this was a gift from a friend. And I think she finished hers, but this is Milady's Needle, and this is Joyful Yuletide Spools. So this in the kit, there's only one, but everything's needed inside of this to finish this piece. And it's really just a weekend piece if I just sit down to do it. It should stitch up pretty quickly. I doubt that the finishing is going to be too fiddly. But there's that. And then this is Country Spirit. But I'm going to put my glasses on. I try not to wear them in the videos because the light catches them so bad. But as I'm reading these patterns, I need them. So you got Country Spirit, Delivering Love by Homespun Elegance. This one was a gift, a pattern that was gifted to me from another stitcher some time ago. And this is another kit by Heart's Content. If you know Heart's Content, it's all about the 1/1. I love her pieces. I've stitched a few. There's actually one, a welcome, that's by my front door. And here's a better look so you can see everything that's kitted and a closer view. Oh, and I didn't give you the name. It's Colonial Christmas. Maureen Appleton of the Heart's Content. And this is a piece, it was a Lizzie Kate sampler, mystery sampler club that came out many years ago. And this is a Christmas sampler, and that's what it'll look like. So I have all 3 of the patterns, and this is what it'll look like when it's finished. And it's beautiful, and I've seen many of you stitch it, and I eventually want to stitch it too. Not Forgotten Farms, Jingle All the Way. I purchased this after visiting Country Needlework, Country Crafts. I always mess it up. It's a cross stitch shop in Johnsonville, Tennessee. And they had this one stitched up as a model, and it was on the counter when I last visited, and I picked this one up. And this is a Visit from St. Nick, a quartet, the Mill Hill Kits. I do enjoy doing Hill Kits. I don't do them enough, but I do enjoy. They're usually quick little stitches that you can finish in a week or so, and then they're beaded. They're great when I go on stitch trips or to stitch with my local stitch group, because they're easy to carry. There's not that many implements to take with you, so I enjoyed that one. Then I have a little case of things that I've finished. So a couple of them's the Mill Hill, and I love these. Back in the day, I did several of these. And here is one of them. This was my favorite one. And this is before Flosstube. So I've learned a lot now. I was using Eileen's glue on the back and just felt. I still use felt on a lot of mine, but the cutting I do a little differently. And now I'm so thankful for the sticky tape. That's what I use on the back. But the best thing about this guy is his bright blue eyes, but his beard. I love it. And these are just freebies. I think I got these patterns offline, and I had some spare perforated paper. And so I just stitched that one up. I love him. He's perfect size to put in one of those plastic coasters. And that's what I did one year for Christmas. I stitched several of these and gifted them. I kept one for me for an ornament. I stitched another for me to put inside one of the his bow. That's a bow right there. It's not a stain or anything. It's a brown bow. But I put it inside one of the plastic coasters that you can put mount needlework into. So that's an idea. And these have been finished, but not with a hanger. So I don't know why I did that. But this is one of those Mill Hill Kit Santas. And then this is a Mill Hill stocking. And this is a Brooks Books. I have several of these, and I will run across them, I'm sure, in a little bit. I've not finished this one up. I didn't like the way it ended up, but this is one of her ornaments. And you can see I've glued the felt on the back. But because I was using Eileen's, and because you're doing individual pieces on it, so I had to cut out a circular wreath. And then I'm mounting these cross stitch pieces on it. When you're mounting it, you see it doesn't mount flush because there's stitches on it. It's not a flat surface. And I didn't like the way it ended up. And because glue also has moisture in it, and I was dealing with paper, the warping is going on a little bit, and I didn't like it. So I put it to the side, thinking I was gonna find a different way to stitch it. And I think I'm just gonna snip it out with my new snips. That's something else I got this week. Hold on just a second. I did get some snips, and I shared with you last, and then another stitcher who's also a paper crafter asked, she said that she uses this kind, which is a Tim Holtz 7-inch blade in their snips. And I thought I'd give them a try, because the reason I like my other ones that I settled on. I've got them in my crafting basket, but these, because I'm getting older, and this hand, it's giving me a little bit of issues. So I thought these may be easier because I've got a soft grip on them, and I can put my whole hand instead of just a couple of fingers. So I have be able to maneuver a little better. And she says she loves these for those type of things. So to the stitcher that suggested these, thank you. I've not tried them out yet, but this will be the perfect thing to do that on. So thank you for the suggestion. this purchase was because of you. So let's keep going. Close those up. Got a couple of the sleighs. I did order these off of Amazon. Well, some of these off of Amazon. These come from Dixie Darling before they closed, and they're the larger ones. But the great thing about when I would purchase those at Dixie Darling, they would have the paper in them already. This is a whip. Oop, and the things are falling out of it because I didn't really. This is one I had wanted to stitch last year. Leslie of Fat Cat Flossing, it's one of her favorite designers is Shepherd's Bush. And I knew I had this piece and she was gonna stitch it. And I said, I'm gonna jump out there and stitch it with you. And I could not find it. I looked everywhere. And then I'm searching for something else one day, months later. Leslie's finished hers. And it was in my tote of patterns. At the very front, it's the one right in the front, but because it's right flush against the edges of the container, I didn't know it was there because there was another pattern. Because it's so stuffed, I just looked right over it. But this is a whip, and it's not my whip, it's my friend Ann's whip. But she passed it on, and I knew I had it, but I wanted to finish it up. And there's Ann's whip that I'm gonna pick up and finish. And then here's another by the Nebby Needle. This is just a pattern, Dash Away All. And here is my favorite designer, Lottie Da, Dasher, Dancer, all the reindeers. And it says, and Rudolph. Need to get that one stitched up. So I'm just gonna have to pull a big, let me make a little bit of room. I'm gonna have to pull out just a big chunk at one time, make it easier. I'm gonna pull them all out. I'm just gonna stack them here. And it goes. Okay. I'm gonna show these first because I just showed the Brooks Books piece so that you can see the others in that series. Because this is the thing. So this is the one I stitched and showed you. They're called an Elf Babies Collection Ornament. And I did Peekaboo Teacup. And then there is the Elf Babies Collection. This is Cherry on Top, which I love that one. I love the cherry on top. Like I said, you're stitching the individual pieces and then you're assembling them together, which was just a totally different concept at the time for me. This is Gingerbread Friend. He's really cute too. And these designs seem to be modeled after the old time Christmas cards. Jolly Teapot. I like it, but at the same time, that teapot's a little creepy. And then one other I did buy this year that I really want to stitch is one of Brooks' books. And this is Spirit of Cross Stitching Santa. So he has a hoop and looks like a quilted stocking and a pair of scissors. And I do want to stitch him up. So I'm going to put all these back. I've got my perforated paper ready to go. I just need to stitch those. Let's see what's in this bag. This is, I've stitched this once and gifted it to a friend. I'm not going to pull the individuals, but this is the Lizzie Kate Christmas Spirit with Charm. So I have all the little flippets, and each flippet had 2 words. And then I have the pattern. I pulled it off of her website to do the border, which is, I think it's just a straight stitch anyway. And so I have everything in here, the fabric, everything, the little flippets, and the fabric I chose. This one, the first one I did was on a mustardy beige, and I gifted that to a friend. And this one was the one I was gonna do for myself, and I just haven't done it yet. Believe it. Let's see what's in here. Oh, this is the Woodland Santa. I don't know if I have the pattern in here. Yeah, lavender and lace. Vanna is stitching this one. Vanna the Twisted Stitcher. I do have the pattern. And this is Santa of the Forest. And I do have it as a start. I started it with a group of friends when we did a Christmas weekend get together. And I'm not gonna bore you because I can tell you it's like less than 30 stitches because we started multiple pieces that week and weekend. And they're all just the outline of the bear's face. So I'm not gonna bore you with that. It's nothing exciting. And then this one is, oh, I bought this one last year from Stitch and Frame in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Oh, Christmas Tree. All Through the Night is the designer. And they had this one as a model on the wall, so I bought everything to stitch it, the threads, overdyed threads and the fabric. And I have it kitted up in here. So I chose Weeks Dye Work Corn Silk and English Ivy to stitch it with. Another future start. I love to stitch Christmas trees. Kind of like I love to stitch fruit baskets. Here's another one. This is Snow Angel by Long Elm Lane. And everything to stitch it is nestled inside the threads and the fabric. And the fabric is Winter Brew by R&R. And it's a combination of Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, and, or actually not Weeks Dye Works, or is it? No, it's the Gentle Arts and Classic Color Works. So another future start. And here is a pack with a lot of the Foxwood crossings. I showed you the sleighs, and I purchased these. Now, one of them, when I purchased this one last year, I got the mat too, so hold on just a second. So this is the piece. It's called Harrisburg Winter, and I wanted to stitch this one, and I believe that is a covered bridge. So I bought the fabric and I bought the mat. So I have everything needed to just put it in the frame. I did buy the frame as well. And then with the pattern, you also get the other patterns for the sleighs, which are just snippets of the original pattern. If you look closely, you can see that. So one is the actual covered bridge and one is this half over here. Then I have these. These are Della Robina sleds, which I have stitched those. This is River Road Church, and I did stitch this one and mounted it on this sleigh, just like this. This is Snow Country Sleds. This is my favorite here. I want to stitch the church. Salt Box Sleds. Love those. Have not stitched those. Snowy Barns. I've stitched all three of those. And Quaker Sleds. Have not stitched those. So all of these are in the same ones, the same bag. I really need a bookshelf upstairs. I've been thinking about it. This is a kit that was given to me from a shop. They asked me to choose and show it on my my Flosstube channel, and this is the one I chose, and I still haven't stitched it, but I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. It comes with the fabric and it comes with the threads. They look to be wool threads, and I'm excited. I really think he's adorable. I really need to stitch him. And this is an EGA piece from several years ago, and I still have not finished it. It's finished. The stitching is finished. I just need to pull it off the frame and finish it. I think it's finished on a toilet paper roll, and then it'll have a tassel hanging down, and I just haven't done it. But so it's in this box of Christmas to prompt me to stitch it. This is a Lizzie Kate Tiny Tidings. I can remember when I bought this, the late 90s. It was this one I liked, Mistletoed. It was really punny. This is another piece that I really, really like these. And this is one of the reasons why I decided last year that I wanted to do a Christmas year, because I really wanted to stitch these. This book is older. I would think it's from the 80s. Yes, 1982. And this is Make Mine a Country Miniature. It's the miniatures that I love, so I'm going to flip it up around on back. This little sampler here. There's, let's see, a little kettle, just the different, can you see those okay? I hope so. The little chicken, the little oil lamp. I love these a lot. Even though it's a really older pattern, many of the older patterns are gems. You can still find gems in them. And then I have this that I picked up off of clearance at Hobby Lobby, and it has all different ways to do gnomes. So it has some, I think it's some stitched pieces in here, crafting pieces in here, and quilt pieces, mug rugs, pot holders, different things you can do with Christmas gnomes. And I thought this would be a great way to do some Christmas gifts for my daughters. They love it when I do little crafty things like pot holders and things for them. And then another is a Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, and this is the winter issue from last year. So of course, you know, there's all kinds of great patterns in here, and that's why I have it. Is to stitch like this one, Deck the Halls. Let's see what else we got. Many of you probably already have this. There's Not Forgotten Farms. Be great to change that to 2023. Merry Christmas. Punch Needle. So I have that in there. And last year's Pioneer Woman magazine. I love to look at hers because I love the things she cooks. This is an old, I'm going to show you the pattern because it was online. I don't have a picture of the finished piece. Someone had put this, I don't think there's a finished piece. There's not. But someone years ago, I don't see a time, yes, 2012, they had this on their blog as a free pattern, and I downloaded it. You can see right there. And then I chose my fabric, and it was all Christmas pieces that you can do. See how terrible my pattern cover is? You can't really tell, but you can see you've got a stocking, you have a Christmas ball, you have a home, you have Dove of Peace, Christmas tree, and they were all, the border was really interesting. We got the candy canes, the holly in between the candy canes. And this is, it was going to be bright and happy, so I had pulled some of the colors, bought them, and we're talking about years ago. And here's the fabric. It's a meadow, color is Meadow Lugana. I got this from a shop in Ocala. The owner's name is Jean. I can't think of the name of it right now. But I got the fabric and the threads visiting there, and I just never have stitched it. For shame, for shame. Now let's see if I can get this back in this bag. I'm not boring you. I'm having fun. Here's another Mill Hill kit. I love poinsettia and cardinals at Christmas. So I bought this beaded kit. This is a Prairie Schooler. The fabric in there, my idea is to stitch it as a Christmas design and change the quilt squares up to Christmas colors. And this is the Putty Khaki Davos, the called for fabric. I've said it many times, I'm gonna say it again. If you're stitching a Prairie Schooler, trust Prairie Schooler to choose your fabric. Here's another Flosstube crossing that I picked up. This is the Old Mill. So I need to put this in with the other Prairie Schoolers, Flosstube crossings, but must have recently picked this up since stuffing this tote. I have several of these kitted up because I got on a kick with these the year before last, and these are the heartstring Santas. This is Santa Gatherings, and this is number 2. They're beautiful stitched up. I have it kitted with the fabric, and let me just show you the colors. Very 90s, but still very, very cute. And I have several of them. A lot of you reached out and gifted me some. I had a friend pick up a little stash from an older shop and send them to me. And here is a whip of mine. This is the Tidings of Great Joy. And this is it by Lottie Daw. And I have a very small start on it, like a corner. I started this during Mania. Got all the threads here. And it's just a pitiful start in the top corner. Because again, it was a Mania piece. This is one I think about a lot too. And then I think about those words, and I think about that just boring, repetitive border, and I think, let me find something else to stitch. This is Merry Christmas by Abby Rose Designs. Several of you, many of you have stitched this one, and I think it is amazing. And I got a piece of fabric, and I don't know that it's gonna look good at it, and that's the only reason I put this one off. I got the gingerbread. I was drawn in by the fabric color name, and I just don't think, I need to do a floss toss on it, but I don't think but it's gonna look good. So maybe I just need to modify, pull the colors for this one, throw them on the fabric, do a floss toss, see what I think, and then change what I need to change and just get this one stitched up because it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. If you're still here, thanks for hanging around with me. Like I said, I'm having fun. This is Sampler Stocking Ornament by Abby Rose Design. So it's another one, just a really small little something you can do on a scrap piece of fabric. I have the fabric in here, but not the threads. But I'm sure there's not that many. Probably even stitch it on a piece of perforated paper. Well, there's 8. There's 8 different colors in this one. And I have a piece of fabric in here, and I've not stitched it. I pulled Light Mocha Belfast. This piece I ordered last year. Everything I thought about last year with stitching was for the grandkids and wanting there to be beautiful little Christmas things that would appeal to them for Christmas. And I ordered this one, and I still really want to stitch it, but this is Twin Peaks Primitive Christmas Preparation at the Barn. Isn't that adorable? And I can just see the kids loving all the little animals, the dogs, the horses, the birds. We'll see. I've got a lot of plans coming up in the next couple of months, but I don't really have anything planned for the end of the year. So we'll see November, December what I end up pulling this. I will definitely stitch Christmas. I just don't know what. Here's a few Little House Needleworks. This is one that was a stitch along by Chelsea and Priscilla at one point, and it's gorgeous. A lot of you have stitched that one. And then Deb from Country Stitchers stitched some of these one year as one piece, and that really appealed to me. And I'm a postal employee, so I just love this one. I'll probably stitch it more than once. But I wanted to put the other things, Needlework Shop, Firehouse. I wanted to do just what she did and do my own little village and on one big piece of fabric. That's why I've got those. So I just picked out a few that I knew that I would love. This is an old Mill Hill book, A Treasured Noel. This stuff doesn't appeal to me. It's all about the Santa. He's stitched here too, but he pops on this. And he's done with specialty stitches and beading, charms, and specialty fibers. I really want to stitch him too. This is Lavender Wings, Long Legs. He's the cutest. Look at that Santa. He really needs to have a drink in his hand because that's what it looks like more than a, what is that, a purse, basket? In his, it's in his left hand here. Maybe need to try to change that to maybe a cup of hot cocoa or something. It has a little something in it too. He hadn't been eating the Christmas cookies, I can tell you that. This is Cranberry Christmas by Hands On Designs. I pulled the threads. They come with the, what is the threads? That's another thread that I can never think of the name. Silky threads. So it came with a silky thread pack to do this piece, and I pulled a lot of the colors and put them on the freebie Christmas design from Paulette Stewart that I have on the go, because I wanted to use those same colors so I don't have it all together. First Day of Christmas Sampler Tree by Liz Matthews. So the 12 Days of Christmas. I love it on this color. I love that she gave us a different way to finishing it because there's only so many things I can hang, and I'm starting to go out of my stitch room into the hallway, which is fine. I'm the only one that really goes up there anymore, but I really need some other ways to finish, but then I need more shelving in my room. So I love that one. Oh, Christmas Tree. This one is kitted up with the fabric, piece of vintage lentil linen by Lakeside. And this is Samplers Not Forgotten. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Another gift from a stitch friend here on Flosstube, Homespun Elegance, Cinnamon Stick Stockings. Isn't he cute? Something else I want to work on this year. I do want to start, and maybe my goal for next year, doing stockings for my grandchildren. I have all of these and the fabric. I want to do them together on one piece. Santa 12 Days of Christmas. So they're all in the pack and with the fabric. Just need to stitch them. Another kit that I bought last year, thinking about the kids, but also thinking about my husband. It was relatively inexpensive. I was really surprised at how cheap the kit was. I did order it off of 1-2-3 Stitch, but I need to get another piece of fabric because I know I'm not going to use that Ada. I don't know. I might. I'm thinking not. One more. You still with me? Another Lottie Da, a Merry Christmas sampler. Beautiful piece. I've seen others stitch this one. It's gorgeous. I love, love, love the colors in this one. And I have a piece of fabric for that one too. Just need to stitch it. Piece of Country Mocha, 40 count Country Mocha. That's it. I've got a mess here on this dining room table. I'll eventually get back up. A lot of people have asked why I'm not up in my stitch room. It's hot up there. It's upstairs. Heat rises. I live in the South. Do I need to say anything more? Yesterday on the way home, it was 111, according to my car's thermometer. 111. It was hot. It was like oppressively hot. It has been raining a lot this month. Thankfully, it had not rained in the few days before yesterday, or it would have been a steamy hot. Yesterday was more, the sun is really bright, it's really hot, it was more oppressive, but it wasn't humid, which makes it a lot easier to deal with. But I'm looking out there now. I'm gonna go out there and go find that frame for the America sampler, but I know I'm gonna time I walk outside, my glasses will probably fog up and I will be glistening within 30 seconds. It's just that hot. I know y'all are all experiencing it, so I'm preaching to the choir, but I don't go up in my stitch room much. I will go up in the evenings, but I go up and turn the fans and everything on, the ceiling fans, let it cool down, and then I go up and stitch later in the evening after sundown. I don't go up before. I just going up there to pull this stuff down today. I was losing my breath, not from, well, part of it may be the stairs, let's be honest. But it was mainly because it's just hot. It's very hot. There's a door to our attic off of that room, and I have made, you know, things to go underneath the door so the air can't creep, but it's creeping. That heat's just creeping up around that protective barrier up under that door, and it's just hot. So other than that, I've got a stitchy weekend planned. I'm gonna be spending a night away and stitching the weekend away with some friends. I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna be visiting a new shop in the suburb of, I think it's, I'm just gonna say Columbia, South Carolina. It's near Columbia. It's not directly in, but one of the suburbs of Columbia, South Carolina, called Stitching Kitten. They opened, I think, Thursday. And I am going to go up and check them out too. So I've got a great weekend planned. I'm excited. That's why I've got my shirt on. Got to represent us needleworkers when I go out this weekend. And I'm gonna stitch the weekend away. I hope you all do too. Enjoy your needle and thread this weekend. Stitch all the stitches. Until next time.